All right, adventurers, welcome back. Today we're diving deep into a world where words have power.
Literally.
Literally. It's Inkforged.
It is?
A tabletop RPG that's got a real Dungeons & Dragons meets
Oh,
the
yeah.
never-ending story vibe with a dash of, those classic text adventures.
Oh, those are awesome.
Like Zork.
Yeah, yeah.
Where you're typing commands to navigate this world.
Oh, I love those games.
It's so cool.
Yeah, Inkforge really taps into that nostalgia, but
Yeah.
it brings in some innovative mechanics, too. It's like they took
Right.
all the best parts of those games and said, all right, let's make it modern RPG.
Right, and for our listener out there, you're probably into tabletop RPGs.
Yeah.
Maybe comics, board games, You're looking for something fresh.
For sure.
And Inkforged delivers, let me tell you.
It does.
This is a world where you become an Ikon,
Okay.
which is a hero drawn into a living book to battle this force called the corruption. So think Jumanji,
Okay.
but less Robin Williams.
Yeah.
More epic battles against anything you can imagine.
Yeah, the corruption is this, pervasive darkness. It's always threatening to,
Oh, really?
yeah, consume the world. And it's a lot like the Upside Down in Stranger Things.
I see.
And you, as the Ikon, are tasked with fighting it,
Yeah.
shaking the narrative with your choices and actions. It's not just about rolling dice. It's
Right.
about using your imagination.
Right.
It's your weapon.
Okay, so let's unpack this defined by dice system.
Okay.
Or DXD, as the cool kids call it.
Yeah.
Now, forget those rigid classes you find in other RPGs.
Oh, yeah.
In Inkforged, you determine your Ikon's abilities by assigning dice. So like agility, brawn, mind.
Right.
Then you have your skill groups like combat, magic, social, sneaky, adventure.
It's so flexible.
It is.
It's like making a superhero in Champions.
Yes.
You want a nimble warrior who can sweet-talk their way out of trouble.
Uh-huh.
High agility and social dice. More of a brainy mage who's also sneaky.
Oh, yeah.
You prioritize mind and sneaky.
It's like choosing the red pill or the blue pill.
It is.
You're shaping your destiny with these dice.
Yeah, and it's so tactile, too.
Yeah.
It's like rolling those chunky dice in Catman, but
Oh, yeah.
with much higher stakes.
Yes. And that flexibility extends to character advancement, too.
Oh, yeah.
So no more grinding for experience points.
No.
Like, you're stuck in an endless World of Warcraft raid.
Right.
In Inkforged, you earn what are called edit points.
Okay.
Think of them like XP.
Gotcha.
But you can spend them immediately
Oh, wow.
to improve your character.
So it's instant gratification.
Instant gratification. You can boost a trait, learn a new skill, even pick up a new language.
Wow.
All on the fly.
That's awesome.
It's like leveling up in Final Fantasy VII, but without waiting for the fanfare.
Exactly. Each upgrade feels so meaningful, because it just feeds directly back into your Ikon's journey.
Right.
It's like those choose your own adventure books.
Uh-huh.
But you get to watch your character grow.
I love it. So, it's not just about brute force. You got to have strategy, adapt to the situation.
For sure.
You might be facing a locked door and think, okay, time to bust out my lock-picking skills.
Right.
But wait a minute. Maybe your Ikon is super charming.
Oh.
Like a bard straight out of D&D.
I see.
So you could try to sweet-talk the guard. Instead, that's where this negotiation system comes in.
Oh, that's cool.
It is cool. It's so innovative.
Nice.
The game is encouraging you to think creatively.
Yeah.
Use your Ikon's strengths, even their personality quirks, to influence the outcomes.
Yeah, you're not just at the mercy of the game master. You're a participant in the story.
Yeah, it's like those Ocean's 11 heist movies. They're coming up with these elaborate plans.
Yeah.
Adapt on the fly when things go sideways.
Right.
But instead of stealing a casino vault,
Yeah.
you're outsmarting a dragon.
That's
or
awesome.
negotiating a peace treaty with some mystical creatures.
And character creation has that, too. It's
Yeah.
this mix of classic RPG backstories
Right.
and these whimsical quirks you'd find in, a Fables comic.
You start by defining your Ikon's past, right?
Yes.
Their origin, their upbringing.
All that juicy stuff.
It's like crafting your own superhero origin story.
It is.
Straight out of Marvel. Then comes the fun part, flair and foibles.
Yes.
Flair is a positive quirk,
Uh-huh.
something your character does that just adds to their charm.
Right.
Foibles are those little weaknesses,
Yeah.
bad habits.
That can get you into trouble.
that can lead to some hilarious situations.
It's like Batman, but he's terrified of bats.
Or Sherlock Holmes can't resist a good cookie.
Even in the middle of a crime scene.
Love it.
But they're not just for laughs.
Right.
They affect the gameplay.
Okay.
Your flair might give you an advantage socially, and your foible
Oh, no.
could cause a problem during a tense escape.
So, let's say your Ikon is this fearless warrior,
Okay.
like Wonder Woman.
All right.
But they have a secret phobia.
Of what?
Spiders.
Oh, no.
It's all fun and games until they're in a creepy dungeon.
Yeah.
Suddenly they encounter a giant spider.
Oh, jeez.
Like Aragog from Harry Potter.
Right out of the books.
And then you can't forget about trades and belongings.
Oh, yeah, those are great.
They add flavor.
And practicality.
You could be a blacksmith, forging your own weapons.
Oh, yeah, like Thor
Right.
making Mjolnir.
Or a musician charming their way into a royal court.
Yeah.
Like Mozart, but with a lute instead of a piano.
Well, it's all about making your character feel real.
Yeah.
Lived in.
Someone who could walk right out of the pages of a fantasy novel.
Exactly.
All right, speaking of stepping into a story, let's talk about overcoming challenges in Inkforged.
Okay.
So challenges are diverse.
Yeah, they are.
You could be picking locks,
Oh, yeah.
like a master thief in Ocean's 11,
Mm-hmm.
scaling treacherous cliffs, like Lara Croft,
Yep.
or persuading a stubborn merchant.
You gotta have the gift of gab.
You got to be silver-tongued. And it's not just about rolling the right dice.
Right.
You can use the environment,
Uh-huh.
your personality.
Right.
You can even negotiate with a narrator,
Oh, wow.
who's basically the game master,
Yeah.
to, change the difficulty or approach a challenge completely differently.
That's interesting.
It is interesting. So it's like those classic Mission Impossible movies
Okay.
where Ethan Hunt is pulling off impossible stunts.
Yeah.
But in Inkforged, you're not just infiltrating a facility.
Right.
You might be navigating a treacherous jungle,
Yeah.
outwitting a sphinx,
Oh.
or charming your way into a fairy court.
I love it.
Speaking of charming your way into things, let's talk about combat.
Oh, yeah. The heart of the game.
This is where Inkforged really shines.
I bet.
It blends that strategic dice rolling
Mm-hmm.
with dynamic action that feels like a cinematic fight scene.
Oh, wow.
It's not just about standing toe-to-toe and slugging it out
No.
like a Western bar brawl.
It's more elegant.
It's more elegant. It's more...
You have initiative.
Yeah.
Determines the order.
Right.
And then you have all these options.
Oh, yeah.
Attack, defend, abilities, spells.
You can even grapple.
Getting grappled, disarm.
It's like choosing your moves in Street Fighter.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
But the dice rolls had that element of chance.
Right. You never know what's going to happen.
And the descriptions are so vivid.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. You can practically see the sparks flying off the swords or the fire trails of the spells.
It's like watching Gandalf fight the Balrog.
But you're in control.
That's awesome.
You're in control.
So how does damage work?
Damage is resolved with dice rolls.
Okay.
Armor provides reduction.
Right.
And if your health hits 0,
Mm-hmm.
you take a wound.
Okay.
Too many wounds.
Uh-oh.
You're defeated.
But is that it?
But don't worry.
Okay.
There's healing,
Okay.
from basic rest to magic.
Okay, that makes sense.
So it's not a one-way ticket to the graveyard.
So you're saying there's that balance of strategy?
Yes.
Just
Yeah.
storytelling.
It keeps you on the edge of your seat.
Oh, yeah.
Just like those boss fights in Dark Souls.
Oh, man. It's so intense.
Or Bloodborne.
Yes.
But Inkforged isn't just about fighting and surviving.
Right.
It's about exploring a world of imagination
Uh-huh.
and shaping its narrative with your words and your actions.
I like that.
And to give you a taste of that, we're going to dive into this Inkstage hands-on section,
Oh, cool.
which gives a glimpse of an actual Inkforged adventure.
Oh, fun. So it's like a playable demo.
Yeah.
But instead of like pixels and controllers,
Right.
you're using your imagination and some dice.
Yes. And this quick start adventure takes us to the village of Fisher's Well
Okay.
and the nearby Jennings farm.
Oh, right.
So imagine this fairy tale-like realm, something out of
Uh-huh.
Studio Ghibli film.
Oh.
Rolling hills, charming cottages, that sense of wonder.
Yeah, I can see it.
But beneath the surface,
Oh.
there's this unease,
Oh.
strange sounds from the barn's roof,
Okay.
movements in the fields, shimmering reflections in the darkness.
It's like Stranger Things.
It's like stepping into Stranger Things or The X-Files,
a little spoopy.
where the mundane becomes eerie.
Right.
And as the Ikons,
Who are they?
our brave adventurers,
Okay.
begin to investigate,
Uh-huh.
they uncover these unsettling events.
Like what?
Crops are damaged,
Oh, no.
livestock are missing,
That's not good.
villagers are whispering tales of a curse.
Oh, it's like a classic horror movie setup.
It is. It is.
But you're not helpless.
No, you're not.
You can fight back.
You have the power. And speaking of fighting it, let's meet our icons.
Okay.
So we've got a diverse group here,
Uh-huh.
each with their own unique abilities.
Right.
First up, we have the Spellblade,
Hmm.
wielding a trusty rapier in a heal spell.
Oh, so they're like a mix of
Yeah.
Aragorn and Arwen.
Yes, a little bit of both.
That's cool.
Then we have the Warrior,
Okay.
a stalwart defender armed with a morning star.
Solid.
Just pure intimidation.
Like Brienne of Tarth.
Yeah.
Unstoppable.
For those who prefer range combat, we have the Inkforger,
Ooh.
equipped with an Inkforged bow
Hmm.
and magic arrows.
So they're like Hawkeye,
Yeah, like Hawkeye or Legolas.
but with a literary twist.
Yes. Then there's the rogue,
Okay.
matter of agility and stealth,
Right.
wielding a hunting knife.
For those quick takedowns?
Yeah, so think Ezio Auditore from Assassin's Creed,
Oh, cool.
Deadly Grace.
Yeah.
And finally, we have the Scrivener,
Okay.
a master of earth and sound spells.
Wow.
So they can control the battlefield with their arcane powers.
Like a mage.
Yeah, like Merlin.
But with an elemental flair.
Yes. So with our cast assembled,
Uh-huh.
the adventure takes a thrilling turn.
Oh, no.
Because the source of the disturbances is revealed.
What is it?
It's a colony of monstrous pumpkin spiders
What?
lurking among the pumpkins.
That's terrifying.
It's like arachnophobia meets Halloween.
But with a creepy twist.
Oh yeah, and these are no ordinary spiders.
Oh. What are they then?
They're called misprints.
Misprints.
They're creatures that are twisted by the corruption.
So they're like...
They're like those monsters from Stranger Things or Silent Hill, but with an ink-forged twist.
I see.
And as our icons face off against these 8-legged horrors,
Yeah.
they encounter a formidable challenge.
Oh, no. What is it?
The Mother Pumpkin.
The Mother Pumpkin.
A giant spider guarding the patch.
It's a classic boss fight.
It is. Think the Rancor from Return of the Jedi.
Oh, yeah.
Or the Cave Troll in Fellowship of the Ring.
Classic.
But even after our heroes emerge victorious,
Uh-oh.
the adventure isn't over.
There's more.
There's more. There are hints of a deeper plot.
What kind of hints?
Whispers of a corrupted spider and a mysterious fire.
Oh, so this is just the beginning.
This is just the tip of the iceberg.
I can't wait to see what happens next.
It's like that ending of a superhero film where the heroes win,
Right.
but there's a post-credit scene
That hints at the next big threat.
that leaves you wanting more.
Yeah, it's like the Inkforged universe is this giant tapestry,
Yes.
like the MCU or Game of Thrones.
And this quick start is just a glimpse
of the epic narratives waiting to be told.
to be waving
With your words.
with your words.
Welcome back to our ink-stained deep dive.
Yeah, we were just talking about this awesome ink-stained hands-on section.
Yeah, it's like a sampler platter of
Oh, it is.
pure ink-forged goodness.
They took those classic choose-your-own-adventure books, sprinkled in some D&D, cranked up the creativity
It's so true.
to 11.
What's really cool is how it brings back that vibe of those old text-based games like Zork, or like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah.
But it's a modern fantasy setting, too.
Right.
It's like stepping into Lord of the Rings.
It's like they took those text adventures, gave them a fresh coat paint,
yeah.
and then injected them with
A
adrenaline.
shot in the arm.
And those descriptions,
Oh, great.
they are so evocative. You
Yeah.
can practically smell the pumpkin spice in the air when you're exploring the Jennings farm.
Yeah, or feel the chill as you uncover those events.
Like, they hired a team of word wizards
He did.
to craft these immersive settings.
They transport you.
They transport you
to another.
And they strike that balance between whimsy and spookiness.
Yeah.
Like those classic Goosebumps books.
Oh, yeah.
Or Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yes.
You're on the edge of your seat, but you can't help but smile
right.
at the creative twists.
Speaking of creative twists, those monstrous pumpkin spiders.
Oh, yeah.
It's like Scooby-Doo, but it went horribly wrong.
Right.
With a little Stranger Things in there.
They're a great example of ink-forged blending familiar tropes
Yeah.
with its own spin.
Right.
You got those classic monstrous spiders, right?
Like Sheilog or Aragog.
Ergog.
But they're given that ink-forged twist.
Yeah.
With the misprint concept.
Yeah. Creatures warped by the corruption.
It's like they took those classic monsters, them in cosmic horror,
Oh, yeah.
and set them loose.
In a fairy tale world.
Yeah.
And it's not just about mindless killing machines.
Right.
They're part of the ecosystem.
Yeah, they add to the world building.
So it's like the difference between fighting a generic orc
Right.
in a dungeon crawler
Right.
and encountering a creature
With a personality.
with a backstory.
With a reason to be there.
And the way the adventure unfolds
Yeah.
with those unsettling events escalating,
Yeah.
it's a masterclass in suspense.
Like Jaws. Jaws.
Or Alien
You're just waiting
for the other shoe to drop.
for everything to go crazy.
Yeah. And when it does,
It's a whirlwind
oh yeah,
of dice rolls and decisions.
it's like playing D&D meets The Princess Bride.
You gotta outsmart your opponents as much as you gotta
Outfight them.
outfight them. Exactly.
And the icons are so diverse.
Yeah. There's a role for everybody.
Whether you want to charge in head first like Cohen
Yeah.
or use your wits and agility
Like a rogue.
like in Mission Impossible.
There's an icon for that.
And the way they describe the abilities,
It's like reading a comic book
yeah,
or a character bio in a video game.
you can practically see the Spellblade's rapier
Oh, yeah.
flashing in the moonlight.
Like The Witcher.
Like The Witcher.
Yeah.
Or hear the Inkforger's arrows
Whistling through the air.
like Hawkeye take an aim.
Yeah, and that final showdown
Oh,
with the Mother Pumpkin.
Talk about an epic boss fight.
Oh, man.
It's like facing off against a giant spider from Lord of the Rings.
Oh,
Or a
yeah.
kaiju in a Godzilla film.
It's David versus Goliath.
But instead of a slingshot, you have swords.
And spells.
And spells.
And bravery.
And even after the Ikons win,
Right.
it doesn't end there.
It never ends.
Right. Those hints of a corrupted spider.
Yeah. And the fire.
It's like a breadcrumb trail leading to a bigger story.
It's like those comic books where you get to the end and you're like, I need the next issue.
It's like the Inkforged universe is this vast, interconnected thing.
Yeah.
This quick start is just a tiny glimpse.
A taste.
And speaking of weaving
Oh,
narratives.
yeah. That's what Inkforged is all about.
One of the things that sets it apart is player agency.
Right.
And negotiation.
Yeah.
It's not about following a set path.
Or doing what the narrator says.
Yeah, you're empowered to shape the story.
It's like those BioWare RPGs.
Yeah.
Like Mass Effect, Dragon Age.
Where your choices matter.
Yeah, you say something and the world changes.
Yeah, remember that scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark?
Oh, yeah.
Where Indy negotiates with the swordsman?
Classic scene.
It's about thinking outside the box.
Using your smarts.
Finding creative solutions.
Yeah.
Using your Ikon's traits.
To change things.
To change the outcome.
Exactly.
So if you see a way to use the environment to your advantage.
Like Batman.
Yeah, like Batman.
His grappling hook.
Yeah, in Arkham City.
Yeah.
Or you think your Ikon's personality.
Could help.
Yeah, like Tony Stark. Using his wit and
gets him out of a tough spot.
In Iron Man, you can talk to the narrator.
And try to negotiate.
See if you can approach things differently.
It's like those Ocean's 11 movies. They got to think on their feet.
And adapt.
Yeah.
But in Inkforged, you're not just pulling off a heist.
You're weaving a story.
You're weaving a story.
Your words have power.
And that focus on negotiation, it extends beyond just overcoming challenges.
Right.
It's woven into the game.
It's like playing diplomacy.
But put a fantasy set.
And swords. And
swords and magic. And it creates this sense of camaraderie.
Yeah, it does.
Among the players.
It's not one person running the show.
Right.
It's everyone working together.
It's like those Lord of the Rings battles.
Yeah.
Every character has a role to play.
Yeah, from the hobbits
to the elves.
To the humans.
For the wizards.
They're all working together.
And that sense of shared purpose.
Yeah.
Working together towards a goal.
It's what makes tabletop RPGs so special.
It's not just about winning.
It's about the stories. Yeah. The memories.
The memories that last a lifetime.
That's what Inkforged gets, right? It taps into that storytelling desire.
It's like reading a book.
Yeah.
Watching a movie.
Playing a game.
All rolled into one.
It's an immersive experience.
It is.
It takes you to another world.
Where words have power.
Imagination is limitless.
Speaking of words having power.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about the DXD system.
Okay.
It redefines character creation and progression.
In a refreshing way.
In an empowering way.
It's like those character creation screens in video games. Skyrim, you know.
Fallout.
Yeah, you're allocating points.
But in Inkforge, it's not just numbers on the screen.
Right.
It's physical dice.
You can hold them.
You can feel them.
Roll them.
You roll them, knowing that each roll shapes your destiny.
That's so cool.
It's the difference between reading about a spell in a book and actually casting it.
In Skyrim. Yeah.
You're not just imagining it.
You're doing it.
You're participating.
And the way DXD works, it's so intuitive.
Yeah,
You're not locked into those rigid classes.
Right.
You can make any character you want.
You want to play a nimble warrior who can talk their way out of trouble. High agility, high social.
Yeah.
Wise mage with a match for stealth.
Mind and sneaky.
Boom. Done. It's like building a custom character in a fighting game.
Yeah.
Tekken, you know. Soul Calibur.
But you're shaping their abilities, not their costumes.
And what's brilliant is it encourages you to think outside the box.
Yeah, you're not limited to those RPG archetypes.
Yeah.
You can have a barbarian diplomat like Conan meets Tyrion Lannister.
Yeah.
Or a rogue who uses magic.
A magical rogue.
Like Ezio from Assassin's Creed. But he's also Gandalf.
The possibilities and that freedom extends to progression too.
Oh, yeah.
As you earn edit points, you can improve your traits, learn skills,
get abilities.
It's like leveling up in an RPG.
But you choose your path.
You're not on rails?
It's like a choose-your-own-adventure, but even better.
Yeah, you can focus on your existing strengths or branch out.
Want to make your warrior more agile?
Like a Jedi?
Like a Jedi. Boost their agility.
Yeah.
Want your mage to heal people?
Yeah.
Get the heal spell.
It's your choice.
And every upgrade feels meaningful.
It does.
You're not just grinding to hit a level cap.
Right.
You're constantly shaping your Ikon.
Making them more well-rounded.
It's like watching a character grow in a TV show.
Yeah.
They start with certain skills and beliefs, but they change over time.
Right. They become more nuanced.
Think about Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
Or Harry Potter.
They transform.
And that's what makes Inkforged progression so cool.
Yeah.
It's not just about getting stronger.
It's about watching your Ikon evolves.
Becoming the hero they're supposed to be.
Speaking of heroes,
Let's talk about the world.
the world of Inkforged.
Where words have power.
And imagination rules.
It's familiar but fresh.
Yeah.
It's high fantasy.
But with that Inkforged twist.
It's like stepping into a fairy tale,
Uh-huh.
but with a modern sense of humor.
It's like those Disney movies.
Oh, yeah.
Where you have talking animals,
Yeah.
enchanted forests.
But there's danger.
Yeah, there's adventure.
It could be exploring ruins.
Yeah.
Like Indiana Jones.
Yes.
Or talking to animals like Alice.
Or bartering with fairies.
In Zelda.
And that blend of whimsy and darkness.
It's in the creatures, too.
The creatures.
Yeah, from pumpkin spiders to fairies.
It's a diverse bestiary.
It's like flipping through a D&D monster manual.
But with a fresh take.
Yeah.
It's like they took inspiration from myths,
Folklore,
pop culture,
blended it all together
Yeah.
to make some wondrous and terrifying.
and then there's the corruption.
Oh, yeah.
This force that wants to consume everything.
It's like the dark side.
Yeah, or the upside down.
It wants to twist everything.
It's that classic good versus evil struggle.
But with an ink-forged twist.
And as icons, you got to fight back.
Protect the world.
Protect the story.
You're like the Fellowship
Yeah.
or the Avengers.
Facing Thanos.
The fate of everything is at stake.
And the way the corruption shows up.
Yeah, it's so interesting.
It can twist creatures.
Like werewolves.
Werewolves, vampires.
It can corrupt objects.
Like the One Ring.
Yeah.
Or Horcruxes.
It can even mess with reality.
Yeah.
Like in Doctor Who.
Doctor Who Interstellar.
It can get weird.
It's this insidious force.
Yeah.
That gets everywhere.
And changes everything.
And that adds tension to the adventures.
Right.
You're not just in a fairy tale.
You're fighting to keep the darkness away.
It's like a superhero movie.
Yeah.
Where you got to protect the city.
Yeah, from the villains.
Think Superman versus Lex Luthor.
Or Spider-Man
Yeah.
against Green Goblin.
But you're not fighting for a city.
Right.
You're fighting for a world of imagination. And as icons, you have the power to fight back.
Yeah.
You use your words.
Your actions.
To shape the world and protect it.
And that's where the mechanics shine.
Yeah, it's not just combat.
It's about creativity.
Ingenuity.
Using your abilities to overcome the challenges.
You could use your words to persuade a king.
Like Aragorn
Yeah.
in Lord of the Rings.
You could use your skills to craft artifacts.
Like Tony Stark.
Yeah, building Iron Man suits.
Yeah.
You could heal the sick with magic.
Like a cleric.
Yeah.
Or a healer in a video game.
The possibilities.
Oh, fun.
And that's what makes Inkforged refreshing.
Yeah.
It's not about rules.
It's about thinking outside the box.
Using your imagination.
Change the world.
It's about embracing the power of words.
To tell stories that matter.
On that note, let's take a quick break.
Catch your breath.
We'll be back with more Inkforged insights in a jiffy. All right, adventurers, we're back for the final chapter of our Inkforged deep dive. We've talked about character creation, combat, those freaky pumpkin spiders.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride.
It has. But there's still so much to uncover. You know what I think is really cool?
What's that?
How Inkforged manages to be both nostalgic and innovative at the same time.
Oh, for sure.
It's like finding a treasure chest full of old NES games. But then you open it up.
And there's a VR headset.
And there's a VR headset. It's like that Stranger Things magic, you know?
Yeah.
Blending retro with modern storytelling.
That's Inkforged in a nutshell.
And one of the things that makes it so unique is this whole living book concept.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just a setting.
Right.
It's practically a character in the game.
It really is.
Like Moya in Farscape.
Oh, yeah.
Or the wardrobe in Narnia.
You step right in.
You step right in. So the book is alive.
It is.
It's responding to what you do, shaping itself around the story.
It's like a choose-your-own-adventure.
Yes.
But the pages are changing.
Then rewriting themselves.
Based on your choices.
That's mind-blowing.
It is.
It's like playing Minecraft, but you're shaping the whole world.
You're not just building a house.
And it really emphasizes how important player agency is in this game.
Yep.
You're not on a set path.
You're forging your own way.
Through this world that's alive and breathing.
That's the beauty of it.
And that ties in the whole idea of being an icon.
Right. You're not just playing a character.
You're a hero drawn into this book.
To fight the corruption.
Yeah, it's like those Percy Jackson stories.
Oh, yeah.
Ordinary kids finding out they're demigods.
Striving for greatness.
So when you're creating your character,
right,
it's not just picking powers.
It's deeper than that.
It's about crafting a hero's journey.
Like those classic origin stories.
Yeah, like Spider-Man getting bitten by the spider.
Right.
Or Batman seeing his parents murdered.
It shapes who they become.
And Inkforged your icon's backstory.
Yeah.
It's not just fluff.
It matters.
It can actually affect the game.
How so?
Maybe your icon is secretly connected to a villain.
Oh, like Luke Skywalker.
Yeah. Finding out Darth Vader is his father.
Oh, that's a good one.
Or maybe they understand a certain creature.
Right.
Like Newt Scamander with his fantastic beasts.
Those little
It
details.
adds so much. And then there's the flair and phobal system.
Oh, yeah.
Poor genius.
It really is.
Like adding those quirks that make a character stick with you.
Uh-huh.
Like Wolverine being all gruff,
But deep
a
down.
heart of gold,
Yeah, or Tony Stark's sarcasm.
hiding his pain.
It makes them feel real.
It does. Imagine a warrior who's afraid of clowns.
Oh, no.
Like Pennywise. Or a mage who can't sing.
Like a tone-deaf bard.
It's those contradictions that make them fun to play.
They do.
And the best part is, those quirks can actually change the game.
Oh, really?
Maybe your Ikon has a fear of heights.
Oh, no.
And they're suddenly in a rooftop chase.
Like Trinity in The Matrix.
Exactly. Or maybe they love puns.
Okay.
And it helps them in a tense negotiation.
Like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, those one-liners.
Inkforged loves those surprises.
It does. It all goes back to player agency and freedom.
You're not just watching.
You're in control.
Steering the story.
It's like those Telltale games, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like The Walking Dead.
The Wolf Among Us.
Every choice matters.
Changes the story.
Different endings.
You're not just playing.
You're creating with the narrator and other
The
players.
team effort.
And that's what makes Inkforged so special.
It's about the experience.
The shared storytelling.
Yeah, like those epic D&D campaigns.
Yeah, where you create
They'll
legend.
never be forgotten.
It's about those moments of triumph and failure
The unexpected twists.
that make each game different.
Inkforged wants you to take risks.
To think differently.
To embrace the unknown.
It's not for the faint of heart.
It's for those who want to dive into imagination.
To tell stories that are both personal and epic.
A game that celebrates words
The magic of stories.
and the power of creativity.
So what are you waiting for?
Grab your dice.
Gather your friends.
Get ready for an ink-stained adventure.
And that wraps up our deep dive into Inkforged.
We hope you enjoyed the journey.
We encourage you to unleash your own storytelling powers.
Dive into this amazing RPG.
Until next time.
Keep those imaginations firing.
And those dice rolling.